What up, motivators? Timothy here. Listen, we are talking about discouragement. I know this discouragement is a drink that many of us has been intoxicated by for at some point or another. But today I'm giving you 5 tips about how to overcome and fight discouragement. You don't want to miss this. So how do we fight discouragement? It's something that all of us will deal with in some capacity in our lives. So here's tip number 1. Remember your why. I know maybe this sounds super cheesy, but it is very true that sometimes we can be discouraged. That I think it's very important for us to just pause, to take a break and remember our why. One of my favorite movies, and I may get a lot of slack about this because for whatever reason, this movie gets a lot of hate, and it's called After Earth, right? And so there's this scene where this whole movie's about this son and dad. They crash on this planet, and I don't want to give too much of it away because you should definitely see the movie. But they crash on this planet. The dad's hurt. He can't help the son, and the only thing the son has is his daddy's voice, right? And so, but they both experience some level of training and things of nature. So anyway, so there's this scene where he's being chased by something, and his dad keeps telling him to take a knee, take a knee, take a knee, right? And the reason why he was telling him to take a knee, it was to stop, it was to pause, it was to assess. It was to really think about what is truly going on. Because at one point in the scene, he was no longer being chased by anything, but he was still running as if he was. I think it's important, family, to learn how to take a knee in the hard times of life, right? In the overwhelming moments of life, take a knee. What is really going on? What is the problem is? Why are you discouraged? Are you discouraged because it's not happening as soon as you want it to? Are you discouraged because you don't have any help? Are you discouraged because maybe you have created unrealistic expectations upon yourself? Are you discouraged because you may not be giving it as best effort as you can? Are you discouraged for whatever reason, family? But in the midst of all this time where you're pausing and assessing the situation, remember why you're doing it in the first place. Resurrect that why. Let that why be the exclamation point to everything you're enduring. Well, let's say, for example, I'm starting this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel is to be an oasis of hope and a desert of hopelessness. I want this to be a place that, you know what, that when people come in, they watch a video, that they leave better. There's so much I have on the pipeline for this, and I know I really, it's gonna sound cheesy, fam, but I really believe we're gonna change the world. But the times where like, man, I'm discouraged, I'm not getting the views I want, what was all the subscribers, what was going on? I got to remember, no, my why. And you remember your why, it helps you that take a knee, so to speak, and put things back into alignment, back into your purpose, your mind back on your purpose. And it really just helps you just to, you know what, just to rekindle that fire to keep fighting forward. Remember your why. Number 2, look back to move forward. What do I mean by this? And I think this is something many of us fail to do all the time. And I think sometimes we can be in a place of discouragement because we're not seeing the complete fruit or the end result quick enough. And I think that we have a hard time seeing progression because we're constantly on the grind. We constantly have our vision forward, and we're constantly just locking in and zoning in. But if we're not careful, we can have this notion as if we're not making ground or we don't have anything to win or any wins. But I beg to differ. If you take a moment to look back, think about when you first started. Think about now that, man, you are, before this was just a thought you had, whether it was to start that business, whether it was to go to school, or whether it was to start your YouTube channel, or whether it was to pursue that relationship. This used to be just these lofty thoughts in your mind, but now you are literally doing it. You bought the camera, family. You sent the DM. You applied to college. You started your business. You are literally doing what you said you were gonna do back in the day. And so I think that should be celebrated. That should be a moment where you pause and say, hold up, listen, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. I made some progress. And I think when we take a moment to look back, to gaze forward, to look back, to reminisce, to celebrate the small wins, the stepping stones to the milestones, I think it really helps bring things back into perspective, to realize, okay, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon, and I'm gonna celebrate the journey, not just the destination. Here we go. Tip number 3, how to fight discouragement. Find a trusted person that will encourage you when you have no strength to encourage yourself. Man, this is very important. And I understand how difficult this can be because, man, friendship is hard to build and it's hard to keep and it's hard to be one sometimes. But I believe, man, and I know it's easier said than done, but if you have those people in your life that is not just there for words, but was your ride or die, you feel what I'm saying? People who are as aware of what you're trying to do, and that they will come alongside you. Listen, maybe you have a friend who's doing a business or whatever. Maybe you broke as a joke, you have no money, but let me tell you something that will mean so much to that individual, and something I hope that you are doing for others is that you are sharing their post. You are encouraging them. You are asking them about their progress. You are being an encourager. You are being an uplifter. Where they don't ever feel like they're fighting this thing by themselves on isolation and abandonment and alone, family. This right here is something I believe is so overlooked. And in some capacities, because we have been so hurt, or maybe you had to grow this thing in isolation, we will make up this mindset, well, beat our chest. Well, I don't need nobody. Maybe I get it, family. Listen, I get it, your thug life. Okay, I got you. But maybe having someone in your corner is not a bad thing. Having someone that can root you on is not a bad thing. How do you fight discouragement? Because you will find it. You will fight it. Have people in your life that will remind you of your why when you forget why. People in your life that will say, hold up, no, pump your brakes, Timothy. You don't listen. Once again, I know you're not where you used to be, but where you used to be or where you want to be, but reminisce and think about how far you have already gotten, how much you have already moved forward, how much you've already progressed. Maybe you're frustrated. You're in college right now and you want to quit in your senior year and you're thinking, man, I have nothing left in you and in yourself and you're discouraged. But maybe you have that friend like, listen, you're your senior year. Man, you were discouraged on your freshman year and you could have quit, but you didn't. You moved forward. And you did it in your sophomore year and your junior year. And now you're right here a couple of months ago. I believe in you. You can do it. And whatever I need to do to help you achieve it and receive it and do it, I'm going to do that. That's the type of encouragement and encourager we need to be in life and we need to have in our life. Oh, don't underestimate the power of an encourager. Number 4, embrace failure. Now, I know this is not an easy thing to do. I get it. Probably the last thing we want to do. But failure in and of itself is not a bad thing, right? Failure is realizing how not to do something. Failure is one of the greatest teachers. And failure, the great thing about failure is that you can learn from this professor, even not being without being the one taking the test. You can learn from someone else's failures. You can learn reading the book about someone else's failure about what and how to do it. And you can learn from the failures in your own life about ways how it should not be done. And going back to the drawing board to continue to listen. And I know you may have heard this before, but the only time you truly fail is when you give up. That's when the failure comes. When there's a quit in you that says enough is enough. Well, you failed at that moment, but no. But when you are falling forward, when you are failing forward, there's still forward progress. You just know how not to do it. And so this is something, man. I get it. None of us wants to be a failure. None of us want to fail in this thing called life. But maybe you need to put this notion of failure back to the drawing board, because it's something that all of us will experience, something that all of us will go through, but it's not the benediction preached at your funeral, right? Failure, that mistake, that thing you learn from, is not the guillotine that is being lowered to chop off your head and you have no life left within you. No, failure is a great teacher. And we should learn to embrace it and to learn it, right? All the incredible inventors we have throughout our lives, that they didn't invent something once, right? It was a process of failures, a process. Science is failures. The process of science, right? The hypothesis and all this other jazz. That's a process of failures. So realizing what getting modern medicine, vaccines, and modern surgery, all this stuff is a process of failure. It's a scientific method of realizing what doesn't work to move you forward to what is going to work. But it's a forward progress. But if you just you just blow up the lab of your life and said, man, I'm done with this, then we're missing it. And then that's when failure utterly happens. So can I encourage you to keep going? Even when you fail, but fail forward. Don't lay backwards. Number 5, how do you fight discouragement? This one right here is powerful. And what I got to tell you is this: read books. Oh, family, this is very important. And I know maybe you'll be rolling your eyes because you don't like reading books. But books, family, is literally someone's life lesson, written, or even now we got Audible and all these other incredible things, all these life lessons. You literally can learn about someone's life and someone's experience by reading books, by being encouraged by their story, by being encouraged by what they learned. And you know what? I even got a book. Bam! Right here. My second book is called This Is Your Chance. And the subtitle is simple. It's not opportunity that will pass you by. It's more like you will pass by your opportunity. And this is very, 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 dear to my heart. And I have 3 books out. One is called Crowns of Glitter and Trophies. My third one that just released is called Use Your Jab, Fighting Back Depression. But this book right here, fam, I wrote this book after 30 years of living in total insecurity. So many of you, if you're new to this channel, I've shared this before, but I have severe dyslexia. And I had to take speech classes until I was in the well up in age to deal with stuttering issues and slurring problems. And the thing about it today, for a living, my full-time job and career is that I travel and speak for a living. Right. And so I lived so many years of my life living in prison of insecurity. I was saying things like I can't when I really meant I won't. I was saying like it's impossible. In reality, now I realize it was just difficult. And it wasn't until I saw this Instagram post right here on the screen that completely changed my life, where I always thought that I was the fish in the bowl who had the assignment to climb the tree, realizing, no, I'm the eagle that God intends for me to soar above it. And so from there, I went to college. Man, I was making A's, and I wrote my book and all this other jazz. And so the moment I realized that, okay, that failure is not that I am not stupid, it changed my life, right? And so I wrote this book, and I hope that it will be an encouragement to you. The link is in the description, and you can pick it up from there. But listen, I do believe in power reading. This is not easy, right? It's not always something that is super enjoyable. However, it definitely can be, but it's super rewarding. So if you're not a reader, can I encourage you to start? But I heard that. I heard what you said. I don't like reading. Yes, you do. You love reading. You love reading Facebook posts. You love reading the subtitles of a good anime. You love reading Instagram. You absolutely you love reading the menu of a restaurant. You don't hate reading. You love reading. You just got to find something that interests you. All right, so there's a reader in you. So listen, I believe that discouragement is something that all of us will contend with and deal with in many aspects of life in some capacity. But when discouragement rolls up to your house trying to break down your door, you don't have to answer its call. Listen, I'm hoping that whatever you put your heart and your mind and your soul to do, it will prosper and it will be blessed. So can I encourage you to fight discouragement by number one, remembering your why, keeping that at the forefront of your mind, because I believe that you will realize how worth it will be very, very soon. Listen, the heart of this channel is to be an oasis of hope in a desert of hopelessness. And I hope that today that you drunk from this oasis and you were encouraged and strengthened and you have the drive to keep moving forward and to keep going forward. Because listen, there's a fight in you. And if you're tired, if your back is against the rope, I hope that you hear the coach in your corner giving you the plays and what to do to keep fighting, to keep standing, to keep striving, because we believe in you. Do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, and be part of this journey. I'm excited what's going to happen through TM Motivations, this channel. So much more we have down the line, and I appreciate you all joining me and building community together. I'm striving to build a table, and I would love for you to have a seat.